Apple has declared war on Facebook's business model with their new privacy changes. What does the war between Apple CEO Tim Cook and Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg mean for your data privacy? You'll get to know all that and more, so keep watching. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Shreyasi and today we are talking about Apple, Facebook and you. That's right, your privacy is at the center of this war between two of the biggest tech titans in the world, Apple CEO Tim Cook and Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg. But first, we have to understand why Apple and Facebook are poles apart when it comes to the issue of data privacy. And it has everything to do with the business models of both of these companies. While Apple makes its money by selling smartphones, tablets, accessories, personal computers, it also has a growing iCloud service business and streaming services like Apple Music and Apple TV. And Facebook, they make almost all its money by selling you ads. While this may mean that Facebook is technically free, but not really. You pay for it with your personal data. Facebook tracks you even when you are not using Facebook. That's how it has enough data about you to customize ads for clients and make money off of you. So to reiterate, Apple doesn't care about your personal data much simply because they are not ad driven. On the contrary, Facebook cares very much about your personal data because they are ad driven. Now that we know about their business model, let's understand the clash between their two bosses, Apple CEO Tim Cook and Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg. It's kinda clear that both Tim Cook and Mark Zuckerberg are not fans of each other. They have sparred over the years. In 2014, in an interview, Tim Cook said if they are making money mainly by collecting gobs of personal data, I think you have a right to be worried. And you should really understand what's happening to that data. Mark Zuckerberg replied saying, "What? You think because you are paying Apple that you are somehow in alignment with them? If you were in alignment with them, they would make their products a lot cheaper." In 2018, the Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal broke out. To understand simply, Cambridge Analytica had harvested data from 87 million people via Facebook to target them with political messages without their consent. This using of people's data without their consent to influence voting patterns quite naturally caused a huge uproar. Mark Zuckerberg publicly apologized, in which he said, "This was a breach of trust and I am sorry we didn't do more at the time." In an interview for MSNBC, when Tim Cook was asked what he would do if he were currently faced with the problems confronting Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, Cook simply said, "I wouldn't be in this situation." He reiterated Apple's commitment to privacy and that they could have made a ton of money if they made customer their product, but they have elected to not do that. He basically meant that Facebook sees people as products to make money off of. Ooh, burn. Mark Zuckerberg later responded by saying, I find that argument that if you're not paying, that somehow we can't care about you to be extremely glib." According to the New York Times, when Mark Zuckerberg and Tim Cook sat down at a private conference to repair their relationship, Zuckerberg asked Tim Cook how he would have handled the fallout from the Cambridge Analytica controversy. Tim Cook said, "Facebook should delete any information about people it had collected from outside of its core apps." Needless to say, Zuckerberg didn't take too kindly at this direct attack on his company's business model. On Zuckerberg's part, according to a Wall Street Journal report, he privately told his Facebook employees that they need to inflict pain on Apple. When New York Times reported that Mark Zuckerberg ordered his employees to use Android phones and not iPhones, Facebook responded by saying, "We have long encouraged our employees and executives to use Android because it is the most popular operating system in the world." While Tim Cook and Mark Zuckerberg were sparring, Apple and Facebook were fighting too. In the recent years, Apple has made privacy a huge part of their products, much to the annoyance of Facebook. In 2018, Apple made it clear that they were not really fans of personal data for free service business model. You know where this is going. They didn't like Facebook's business model. Apple updated its operating systems to give people more control on how their data is collected and used. For example, web browser Safari would ask owners permission before allowing Facebook to monitor their activity. Did Facebook like this? You bet they didn't. But Facebook couldn't do anything because Apple controlled their operating systems. And Mark Zuckerberg knew it. BuzzFeed reported that in a company-wide meeting in 2020, Zuckerberg said Apple has this unique stranglehold as a gatekeeper on what gets on phones. Well, it was about to get worse for Facebook. Apple was going to release a privacy feature that would require apps to get permission from users before tracking their behavior across other apps. Not only was Apple hitting at the heart of Facebook's multi-billion-dollar advertising empire, it was also telling its users, hey, if you didn't know, this is how Facebook tracks you all over and we are giving you a way to stop that. Facebook, obviously rattled, bought full front-page ads claiming Apple's new policies would hurt small businesses' ability to survive, and that Facebook was standing up to Apple. Harvard Business Review called this campaign of Facebook misleading. Tim Cook called those arguments flimsy. Apple said, well, we are standing up for our users. But Facebook's campaign would not make much of a difference anyway, because it is clear that in this battle, Apple is leading by a mile. Privacy isn't just lip service for Apple now. It is now a business decision, because with growing privacy concerns, millions are going to line up for Apple products. What would have Steve Jobs thought of this move by Apple? Very highly, apparently. In 2010, Steve Jobs said that privacy meant people knew what they were signing up for. In his words, ask them. Ask them every time. Make them tell you to stop asking them if they get tired of your asking them. Let them know precisely what you are going to do with their data. And guess who was in the audience? Mark Zuckerberg. Guess Steve Jobs could tell Mark Zuckerberg, I told you so. On his part, Mark Zuckerberg said that Facebook might be in a stronger position after Apple's changes if more businesses decide to sell goods directly through Facebook and Instagram, as Apple makes it harder for them to use their data in order to find the customers that would want to use their products. This was a nod to the huge amount of data Facebook already has about you. But what side of the debate are people on? That time will tell. But according to Verizon-owned Flurry Analytics, only 4% of users in the United States consented to tracking by apps. We will let Facebook do the math. Till then, drop a comment on what video you want next, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.